the other person could have, let's say, a red mark or a scratch. Hey everybody, this is David Kohlmeyer, the Problem Solver. Thank you for joining us today. Again, David Kohlmeyer, the Problem Solver, a retired police officer, helping people solve problems one problem at a time. There's no problems that are too small or too big that I would not handle whatsoever. So again, thank you for coming to today's show. Today, we're here with David James, who is the Chief Visionary Officer. Sounds amazing. Sounds kind of like, really big for blockchain recruiters. And today we're going to be talking about blockchain and the currency, the Bitcoin currency, that I know nothing about. And I've been saving this day for David to come on to the Problem Solver to talk about basically Bitcoin. Thank you, David, for joining us today.
Yeah, really glad to be here. Thanks for reaching out and having me in.
So, people would say, like, what is the Problem Solver to do with Bitcoin? Like, how is that solving problems? I mean, to me, I'm clueless, and people ask, like, what's going on with Bitcoin? You go to the gas station now, basically, there's a video, like, you could pay for Bitcoin. You pay gas for Bitcoin. You can exchange, buy, sell. Like, there's so much going on. I think to the average person, they're just clueless of what's going on. I think I'm pretty, I'm somewhat intelligent, but I just feel like I don't know what's going on. Then everyone's talking like they as an investment. Do I invest the money? Do I not invest the money? Do I buy the smaller Bitcoins because Bitcoin's very expensive? So I think let's just talk about the topic, how it started, and your opinion, which of course we don't want anybody to. We're sharing information. We're not telling people to basically buy or sell or whatever. But I just want to have a conversation, so there's no liability here, whether it's David or myself, another David, of what we're sharing. I'm very curious because, maybe I should be buying, and I know there's some different theories about buying, 2/8 of a coin. We talked about it, and believe it or not, I was involved in a law firm for several years, and people that are in prison, some have Bitcoin, and they're trying to send Bitcoin, to family and friends as a currency to help people when they need money or to buy a home. So there's so much that's going on that people just don't know about it. So anyway, I know I'm rambling, but David, thanks for coming to the show. Tell me about how you got involved in Bitcoin, and then we can talk about your title, your company, and how you're helping people, because you are recruiting people to be involved in Bitcoin.
Well, I'm recruiting people in the blockchain space. So I'm a recruiter. I own a recruiting firm with my partner, Blockchain Recruiters. And what we do is we recruit on behalf of companies that are in the blockchain, which is Bitcoin space, right? And we look for talent for them, and we help people actually transfer their skills into this new emerging.
So basically, like, you're looking for people that want to work in the Bitcoin industry.
Yeah, they want to take their skills transfer them, right? Like strategists, coders, full stack developers, chief investment officers.
So people that have previous skill set to other markets, you now can help these people get jobs and recruit them.
That's correct.
To the currency, to the Bitcoin.
Everybody except ex-cops.
Ex-cops.
If you're not an ex-cop, I can help you.
I was thinking I'm done. Like, I was thinking, this is great. This is my new job here today. I didn't realize I'm the first recruited person going into the Bitcoin. So I wanted to learn about it because, like I said, I have some family that talk about, like, gold and silver. And one time, I'll show you, you'll laugh, I did go buy silver when I was, I think, high. I already forgot what it was, $32 or whatever it was, but like people say, you should buy silver, you should buy gold. Who knows what's going on? I got all the silver, I got gold, so anyway, that's why I wanted to have you here. So, but you are actually helping people then. You are helping people solve their problem if they don't have a current job and they had a skill set.
A transferable skill.
Skill.
Yeah, that one of my clients could use. Or if I'm always willing to help people get a better job. I mean, my time now recently, last couple of years, is not as available as it is. But some people, they want to retain me to actually find people for them.
Okay.
And I always help candidates find a better job, whether it's in the Bitcoin space or not. That's my problem solver thing.
No, I appreciate that.
Anybody who wants a job, I will help you get a better job.
Here's a good question I was just thinking about. I deal with some different programs because I was a cop and I try to help people that have been arrested or in prison, and they're, I want to prevent recidivism, and they're looking for jobs and they have housing and counseling. Like if you're a felon or you've been arrested for a gross misdemeanor, you cannot become like a licensed real estate agent. You can't sell insurance and different things. Is there any laws with anybody that has a previous conviction to not be involved in Bitcoin?
No, you mean in cryptocurrency and
Yeah.
blockchain? No, there are none of those rules that exist.
That's
None.
interesting. Okay, because I know that for the two nonprofits in town, they're trying to help people, and I just
Yeah, it's archaic reasoning, right? It's like you sell a bag of dope when you're 19 and it affects you for the rest of your life. It's that part of our society needs to be reimagined. But I'm sorry I interrupted.
But I noticed that it seems like, and maybe we'll jump a little bit forward, we'll go back a little bit, but it seems like the government's getting more involved with the Bitcoin. And the other day, I don't know anything about it, but like the government now is saying, like, for tax purposes, then that you have to pay taxes on it. So do you think that for people that I'm trying to help to get a job, if you were trying to help them and they have a felony or gross, they made a mistake 30 years ago, right? Do you think the government's going to get involved and say, if you're involved in Bitcurrency, that you basically cannot be a felon or gross?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't, and I'm pretty aware on what's going on with the government, what's not. And there's a lot of FUD, as we like to call it, right? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Mm-hmm. And somebody will just say something. Hey, I think this is a good idea, right? Like, for example, Joe Biden says, hey, I'm going to raise all these taxes and I'm going to spend $2 trillion in infrastructure. But the truth is, Joe Biden has nothing to do with that. There is a body of Congress and a body of senators who must decide and vote on all that mishigash, right? So people hear, oh, Joe Biden said that. It really amazes me because when he says that, then the stock market goes down. It's like for something that's not going to be here in 2 years. But once again, I digress.
All right, so let's go back to Bitcoin in general,
Yeah.
the beginning. So how did this start? And I'm sorry to, I can talk like you as well, but I do remember someone telling me once, hey, at the Palms Place, which is in Vegas here, one of the condo hotels, that some guy basically has multiple computers and they're mining Bitcoin. This was years back.
Right.
And I'm like, what is he mining?
Yeah.
What is he doing? And supposedly he was mining them in a high-rise condo, and somehow he was making money, and I really didn't want to educate myself because it sounded crazy. So let's just go back to Bitcoin. Like, what is it and what's going on?
Yeah, so what happens is that the word coin in the word Bitcoin really throws people off because they think of it as a token that they actually
A physical
hold.
coin.
Yeah, because we come from a society of having a nickel or a token or Chuck E. Cheese or whatever that token is we think of holding it. So it's called a Bitcoin. But really what it is it's a piece of code. And I've always said that if you refer to Bitcoin as bit code, you'd understand it a lot better. So, I mean, I don't know. I could give a crash course on what Bitcoin is, or I could tell you what my genesis is. Well, so what basically, there is a blockchain, okay, which is a ledger that is perfectly transparent that everybody in the world can see. Everybody who wants to can see every single transaction that's ever been done on this blockchain ledger. And the reason that's important, if 5 years ago I sent a guy 5 Bitcoin from the place I possessed it, it's called the wallet, and to his, that transaction is on the Bitcoin forever. It's indisputable, and that's what makes the thing so perfect. So what ended up happening is that there was this person or persons or entity called Satoshi Nakamoto. We don't know who he is or what he does. There's a lot of speculation. He created this right after the financial chaos, when he saw that the government was going to reward the people who actually committed all the crimes, the banks, and not the people who got stuck in the bad mortgages.
So what, is he just a Japanese guy or something?
We don't know what he is. It's a pseudonym because that guy just doesn't exist. I mean, we're going way down the rabbit hole as far as
So
that.
he's the guy that like invented it.
So yeah, everybody in Bitcoin knows Satoshi Nakamoto is the person that he wrote a white paper. When I say he, we don't know if it's he, it's they. I mean,
Group, it could be anything, right?
yeah, it started from the cyberpunks, but that's a whole. That's kind of like we want to talk about what time it is or how the clock is made.
So it could be a group, it could be a person,
Yeah.
it could be like a thing.
Right, and so what ended up happening is he had this idea that he says, "Hey, I've got this new thing called Bitcoin, and you might think about getting some in case it catches on." Now, back then, 2009, you couldn't give them away. I know people who bought Bitcoin for a nickel. All right, I mean, it's all relative on no matter when you got in, you thought it was too late. I got in at $200. It's like, damn, I should have got in $1. It doesn't matter. But what I'm trying to say to you is, so what Bitcoin is it's this code that's not confiscatable by the government. Any government can't shut it down or any of that kind of stuff, right? And all of a sudden, now what ends up happening as far as mining is concerned,
Wait a second, why can't they shut it down? I mean, can't they just say it's illegal? Like it's alcohol or tobacco? Can't they?
give me a little bit more rope.
Sorry,
Give
go
me a
ahead.
little bit more rope so I can make everybody
Bring in
understand.
more rope, go ahead.
So the thing about Bitcoin is that there are blocks of Bitcoin that are mined, all right, with hashing power. So when you're talking about those computers, there are computers all around the world, all right? And so what ended up happening at the first period of time, X number of Bitcoins could actually be mined per every 10 minutes.
Okay.
All right? And so in the beginning, it was about 25 that could be mined.
Every 10
minutes.
Every 10 minutes, you could actually do 25 Bitcoin.
Back in the beginning. And then there was a thing called the halving, where they reduced it in half, and you could only get 12 and a half. Okay, then last May, it was halved again, where you could only get 6 and a half. See? For
10 minutes?
Every 10 minutes, you get 6 and a half. We're talking in the world. We're talking the world. For a total maximum of 21 million. There will never be more than 21 million. Okay? So this is scarcity, right? This is like a vaccine or something. There's a finite amount that can never be replicated no matter how high the demand goes. It's the first asset that has ever been created that can't be replicated no matter how high the demand goes. So when you've got something like that, think 21 houses on the coast of Malibu, right? It's just, if that's all it is and everybody needs to live there, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want to digress too far. So what ends up happening is I have a code, right? And I can send you, I send through the blockchain, and if you have the right code, then you can actually retrieve them. All right? So this is a worldwide thing. This is a worldwide blockchain. It's just not a USA thing.
It's the world.
It's the world.
Planet Earth.
I mean, and so that's just the general sense of what mining is, and that's just the general sense of what Bitcoin is. So you got to think about it like this. When you have Bitcoin or percentages of Bitcoin, you've got pieces of code on a blockchain that you possess. And believe it or not, people assign a monetary worth to this code, hence called coins. And you don't have to buy an entire Bitcoin. You can have, you could go 8 decimal points to the right. I don't know how small it is. It's quite divisible, if that makes any sense. And now what ends up happening is because people have seen so that's what Bitcoin is. I don't want to go too far on how I got into it. I want to make sure I follow a little direction here. So
you're doing good. All right, so tell us how someone mines. What is mining exactly?
Yeah, so basically there's an algorithm. You get a certain type of computer that has a certain type of power, right, that goes onto the blockchain. So think about it as fishing, all right? If there are 50 fish, right, and there's one guy who's got a line in the water, right, and they're guaranteed that one fish will hit your line every 5 minutes, then that person knows that hey, I'm going to catch all these fish. But if you've got 10 people on, then it's more random. So there's this randomization that happens. So what they're doing is when they're mining, they're powering these computers that get into these
algorithms, right?
Algorithms like a lottery of sorts, right? And then based on that, they disperse, right? But
okay. So let's say I want to mine.
Yeah, I'm your wrong guy. I know the least. I know the least about mining.
I brought the wrong guy in the show. I need a miner.
Yeah, you better pay your sponsors back. So So as far as the technical part of mining, that's the thing I know the least.
So just to throw a quick thing, I mean, is it like, for what you know of, is it if someone's mining, are they having 10 computers, 20 computers?
Sure, one computer. Think about this. If I have one computer, right? Think about buying the lotto tickets, right? If you buy one ticket versus 100 ticket, it's a horrible analogy because the lotto is such fine odds. The more computers you have, the more hash power you have. That means it increases your odds of getting more.
But I'm assuming right now, it's so competitive that someone has 100 computers, what?
In China, there are farms that have hundreds of thousands of computers.
I mean, is a warehouse with 100,000 computers?
Yeah. And see, think about it is...
So in China, you think there's a warehouse with 100,000 computers?
Yeah, and so I'll tell you the best place to mine Bitcoin is Iceland because electricity is free.
Electricity is free in Iceland, so we can have as many computers running.
Yeah.
Lights, too.
Well, you think most people have to
I'm sure they'll change the law once you just said that.
Sorry, Iceland. You can hate me.
It's a secret, not Iceland. It's a different
But
state.
what I'm saying is...
So we go to Iceland and we open up shop.
But here's the really way to look at it, okay? Of the 21 million that actually will ever be mined, 18.5 million have already been mined, right? So they're already in existence somewhere.
So the 18.5 million that's already been mined,
right.
21 million, that's the max. There's not going to be a supplemental. Hey, it's another million. Hakimoto's not going to come out.
That's why they made the other coins. No,
that's
never.
why they're making the other coins.
Yeah. Hey, how do I get on this new thing?
So once you hit 21 million, do you think that the other coins now going to be? We don't know.
Yeah, it's speculation. We're in such new times.
Would the other coin a set limit of them too?
Yes and no, but basically, there's thousands of them, David. We're going to confuse your listeners if we
Got it. You know, I want to tell you a quick secret is that I'm starting a Chuck E. Cheese Bitcoin, and if anybody wants in, they should call me. You know,
Well, yeah,
so,
they've got that. It's called Doge.
Doge.
Yeah,
That's the dog thing,
Yeah,
right?
you think about the dog thing. I'll talk about
But
that.
Chuck E.'s a
There's
rat.
an infinite amount of Doge coins. It's like the U.S. dollar.
so spell it again, Doge, because I'm confused. This is DOGE.
E. Yeah.
Doge coins.
Yeah.
And this is the one with the dog. It looks like a shepherd or something, right?
Which was started as a joke.
It started as a joke. And this is what, from Elon Musk?
No,
Or not?
Elon Musk didn't start it. I don't even know the guy. The guy started with his buddy in the jog, and he just put his dog's face on it, right? And for the longest time, it was, I don't know, you could get 12 of them for a penny, and it was.
What is it now?
75 cents, 50 cents, something like that.
Okay.
I don't follow. It's
And is there, like, just like this 21, I'm taking notes here as we're talking.
no. That's the thing about the other coins. See, here's what you have
There's
to understand.
no limit.
Here's what you have to. Bitcoin has no headquarters, like in New Jersey. Okay, it's decentralized, like Al Qaeda,
Okay.
right? or like Alcoholics
There's
Anonymous.
no office.
There's no office.
I can't call 100,
No,
100 Bitcoin.
You can call, no one will answer.
Okay.
It's a decentralized thing. It took off from this idea, right? And there's this open source ledger on the blockchain that anybody can actually program into.
Here's a question. I worked with this female at one of the firms, and someone gifted her a Bitcoin, and she had an email. And before I knew you, she was trying to basically figure out how to get it. Once someone gives it, can they take it back?
No.
Okay. So it's on the ledger somewhere that this girl got some Bitcoin. And if she doesn't have the password or the code,
Right.
but it's the email, I know we spoke about this before.
It's a backup phrase. There's a certain.
But if she doesn't know the
It's lost forever.
it's lost forever.
Yeah.
So if I gift it to you, if I gift you one Bitcoin, there's a phrase that comes with a Bitcoin?
Well, no, that's not how it works. So what happens?
Because she
is-
got gifted and there was an email I saw. She never knew how to get it.
I understand. So Bitcoin is this electronic code that exists on the blockchain, all right? And right now there's 18.5 million of this code that exists that can be transferred from entity A to entity B, all right? And just to make it as simple as possible, there are these things called wallets, okay? And we could go way down the rabbit hole as we could, like talking about the types of cars there are, right? But a wallet is the thing, for the sake of your listeners, on where you possess your Bitcoin. All right.
You want to transfer it over to a Bitcoin wallet,
Right.
which is like a currency wallet, which you have possession of.
Yeah, you use the word currency, right? And when you say currency wallet to your wallet, what they're going to think of, and they're going to
actual
think,
physical
They're going to think of a
control.
wallet like this with that in it, right?
Right.
Which is incorrect. Give us a flash there, boss. So any
Flash of the cash.
yeah, they'll think it's this. All
Cash.
right, that's wrong. So basically, it's a wallet.
It's kind of like a memory stick.
That's a good way to look at it. Yes. Okay. And so wherever you possess your Bitcoin, okay, it could be on an exchange or it could be on your own personal wallet. If it's on an exchange, then the good news is they can protect that for you. All right. The bad news is that the government could go to an exchange and just like they could go to your bank account. Because so we got a saying, not your keys, not your coins. So I have a wallet where I keep my Bitcoin, and you have a wallet where you keep your Bitcoin, okay? And I've got a little code on there. If the Bitcoin actually gets lost, somehow gets destroyed, I've got a magic phrase that's hidden. I can go back in and I can retrieve that, and I can move the coins that were on that wallet to a new wallet, so they're not lost. But if you once had the phrase and then lost it and don't know what your code is, your coins are gone forever. So what I'm saying is once you send it to me or like to your female friend, I'm responsible for it. It's kind of like, hey, I gave you a gold coin. Well, I lost it. The word coin, everybody ignore that.
It's really bit code.
It's bit code. It should have been called bit code, but then it would have been synonymous with money, right?
It wouldn't have been.
No.
Yeah. So the coin kind of makes it like it's currency,
Yeah.
which it technically is, right? It's electronic.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, and
people
see
will
that's a big debate. That's a huge debate because the IRS says it's not a currency. People say it will never be a currency, right? But the fact of the matter is that it's the most appreciating asset I've ever been a part of. And I mean, I know how to turn it into money. Absolutely.
Now, the government, I was told the other day, again, this is just from people I've been talking to, that supposedly Joe Biden, the president, wants to tax people and go back or something? What's the story with that?
Well, that's got really nothing to do with Bitcoin. That's that. Yeah, what Joe Biden wants to do is
the profit.
Yeah,
right?
I just want to stay apolitical as I possibly can. But what they want to do is they've got these big ideas for infrastructure and empowering marginalized people, and that's going to cost $2 trillion. In order to pay for that, they don't have enough money from the current tax revenue.
So they're looking for ways.
Yeah, and even if they do the thing that you're talking about, the only way they'll be able to pay for this is by property confiscation. And that's what makes Bitcoin so great, because basically they can't confiscate it. Now, just for some of your listeners who know a little bit more about this, there are exchanges out there like Coinbase or Kraken or Bitfinex or Binance. These are places where coins can be purchased and they're stored, right? That's the same thing as buying it on an electronic bank, because if you have any coins that are on an exchange, and the government says, hey, David Kohlmeyer, we want you to actually take his account and give it to us. That's just like taking the money out of your accounts from the IRS. They can do that. But if I have my offline wallet, right, which I advise everybody to do once they know enough about the space to do that, then the government cannot confiscate your coins unless you give up the code. So there have been stories in the news about how the government confiscated the guy that did Silk Road's Bitcoins. No, to not go to jail for longer was part of the plea. He gave up the ghost. It's different from me giving you the keys as opposed to you just taking it by force.
I mean, it's kind of amazing. It's like back in the day, like if you robbed a bank, you stole something and then you buried it or you put it somewhere, right? Here, you have a passcode for that money.
Yeah. So there's no one who's ever going to no one is going to rob me of my generational. Stay with me, David.
Yeah, go ahead.
Stay with me. Nobody's going to rob me of my generational wealth, the wealth that I'm going to pass on my kids and their kids. And the reason I got into Bitcoin is I just saw what was happening with the government. And for me, I saw that they printed all this money after the banking crisis started because the banks were being usurious. This town was hit the worst, right? You're giving loans that are going to go up forever. And before you know it, you're paying $50,000 a month for your loan. I mean, that's how crazy the interest rate was rising. And when the bottom finally fell out, instead of protecting the people that were the victims of the predation, they protected the banks. They gave the banks money. They bailed the banks out. And what did they do? They actually went back to the same shit that they actually been doing all along. So the reason I'm saying this to you is I saw that the government keeps printing money. And it's my analogy is this. I've got a party with 8 people and I buy the big bag of Kool-Aid, serves 8. Well, all of a sudden they're just telling me, hey, we got 50 people coming, so just put in the correct amount of water. Eventually it just doesn't taste like Kool-Aid anymore, and then it doesn't even look like Kool-Aid. It looks like just water. So they keep diluting the money supply, right? And so what's happening is money goes where it's treated best. And so this whole thing with Bitcoin is that they can't artificially print more and depreciate it that way. That's how I got into Bitcoin.
Are you? I mean, that's a definite. The $21 million, right?
Yeah.
Never can become more. There's no Hucky Moko. Not going to come out somewhere.
Nope.
Say, hey, by the way, there's another $3 million, but I didn't tell you about it.
No. That's what makes.
So that's the whole point about the scarcity of like supply and demand, and we're basically saying that. So I was talking about my wife when we originally met. We spoke. I said, I got this Bitcoin guy. He's all about Bitcoin. We should watch these videos. Never really got a chance to watch them all. Went off your momentum in general, and basically we never got a chance to really sit down and talk about it. I figured I was going to see you, coming here this week. But the bottom line is that technically, right, the reason why you would want to buy something, whether it was not flowers is a bad, I guess silver and gold, right? If there's a limited supply and the scarcity is going to basically go up, there's going to be, the supply and demand, then basically you're going to wind up, it should go up in money, technically, right? Now I just looked online.
What do you mean should? It has.
It has to. Well, it has.
And it continues.
So if it's $56,755 as of today.
Yeah.
My question really comes down to, it's all speculation. We don't really know. But once you hit 21 million, the truth is it's probably going to double.
Dude, it's going to more than double before. So the way it's set up with it's called a halving, where you can get half as less for the scarcity.
The 25, the 12, the 6.5.
The very last Bitcoin will be mined in the year 2140.
2140.
Yeah, we'll be way dead. Well, you guys will. I've cut a deal. But anyhow, everybody will be dead.
Why is it 2140?
Because it just goes slow.
Oh, because they keep halving it.
Yeah.
But who's halving it? Who decided that?
The guy that designed
Sakamoto.
Shakamoto. Yeah, that's right.
I keep changing his name. Okamoto,
Satoshi
Shakamoto.
Nakamoto. Man, you're
Nikamai.
racist.
I keep thinking of Tom Cruise in the Japanese movie
Yeah, The Last Samurai.
Last Samurai.
Yeah,
so someone in The Last Samurai made this Bitcoin.
The Last Samurai made this Bitcoin. He's the last samurai.
So 2140. So we're in 21. What are we now already? I'm getting lost with my numbers.
22, 21. Just 119 more years from now.
2140.
Yeah.
So really is a long time.
Right, but I want to remind you, okay, that 90% of them have, or whatever the number is, have already been mined. They already exist. They're already being traded.
I mean, so Hakimoto kept slowing this thing down.
Nakamoto.
Nakamoto. I kind of like that.
You can do whatever you want, but I'm going to tell you.
Nakamoto.
The cancel culture is going to come to you for that.
Nakamoto.
Right.
Okay, let me wrote it down. So somehow when he made this, or who made it, whoever.
He wrote it. Yeah, he was a cryptographer.
He decided to slow it down as
a progressive
slowing it
halving.
out.
Right, knowing that this would increase
Halving.
scarcity. That's correct.
So 2140 is the last time that Bitcoin can be
Mined. The last Bitcoin will be mined at 2140. That's correct.
definite.
Yeah.
So it's really being slowed down a lot now.
Well, right now, all the miners in the world are 6.25 Bitcoins every 10 minutes.
6.25 Bitcoins.
Yeah, 900 a day.
6.25 Bitcoins. What did you say?
900 a day.
900 a day is allowed to be mined.
Yeah. If you take 6.
Wait a second. 6.25 Bitcoins per what?
10 minutes.
Per every 10 minutes.
Yeah, so you take 6.25 times 60, right? Because there's 60 blocks at 10 minutes an hour, times 24 is 900. Mm-hmm. 900. 900 worldwide new ones are mined a day. And just to put it into perspective, so PayPal buys 900 Bitcoins a day.
PayPal buys 900
Yeah.
a day.
So where are the rest coming from? Right? Grayscale buys 500 Bitcoin a day. All right? I'm just telling you.
So they're buying from other people.
Yeah, correct.
Because they believe the same situation.
How much is your house worth? What someone will pay for it. That's how much your house is worth. Mm-hmm. That's how much the place we're in right now.
Well, it's funny that, right, with this whole housing market, which I don't understand what's going on, it's like...
Let me explain it to you.
Okay.
Let me explain it to you. So
like
what happened was when the crash happened, or you want to call it crash, March of 2020, right? What happened was two things. There is this mass money printing that went out to the masses, right? Mm-hmm. That's not economy, that's stimulus. And on top of that, they dropped the interest rates to zero. So just like in 2008, we don't have homes looking for money. We've got money looking for homes. So basically, once again, like 2008, all you have to do is be able to fog a mirror, and then you qualify for a loan. That's pretty much the same thing. So the ability to actually get a loan has gotten very, very easy again. So that pushes the demand up. Now, the person that couldn't afford a house. And here's the funny thing. I was talking to a friend of mine who's a real estate agent, right? And it used to be when he was pricing, it's like, okay, well, let's price the house at $900,000. Why? Because that would be $3,000 a month payment, assuming it's like your average typical loan. But then the interest rate started going down, and my real estate friend said that all of his sellers are saying, hey, let's price it at $1.4 million. Why is that? Because that same $3,000 payment now gives them $1.4 million house. And that is what took the housing market up. Not to mention the fact that a lot of the city flight to urban neighborhoods, because people can work from home now, that's raising the prices up in Tupelo, Mississippi, Rawlins, Wyoming, Flint, Michigan. You understand?
Because of COVID as well, it pushed people home.
Well, no, I'm paying $6,000 a month for an apartment in San Francisco. Why? For $6,000 a month in Lubbock, Texas, I could have 5,000 square feet.
Well, it's also because of COVID that pushed people to stay home and work from home.
Yeah.
Some people are able to work at home, so might as well, if I can work at home, I might as well move to a state that's a bigger home or cheaper living, right?
Unless you're industrial manufacturing or some type of transportation, all jobs can be done from home. So have a think about it. All jobs can be done. You can't, be a restaurant, right? I'm not talking about those. But, I mean, look what COVID did for Amazon, and we're getting way off topic, right? But, yeah.
You know, so we've done real estate.
And what is this woman's name?
My wife?
Yeah. You can
I can't.
Okay.
Her name is her name is Camellia, my wife.
Camellia, okay.
And we've done real estate investing in the past. Well, I guess we've been doing it for many years. But one thing that's funny is I told her about a year and a half, 2 years ago. I said, "Why don't you become a realtor?" Basically, because the market's so crazy that it's not really a good time to buy investment properties unless you.
And she's beautiful and smart, and
Yeah,
boom.
I have been fortunate. Yes,
You're an overachiever, like me.
It was a very scarce market, so I was lucky. I can't say I mined her, but I found her. I
You
didn't mind
did,
her.
of sorts.
So long story short, I told her, "Why don't you become a realtor?" I said because right now you can't really invest in anything unless you find something distressed, right? Like a distressed home. So it's hard to find these distressed homes and so on. So she became a realtor. Basically, was doing it. She does like 2-3 homes a month. But it was funny today. She mentioned that she was trying to help a friend buy a home locally in Las Vegas, and the guy wrote back and said, "Look, we went with another offer, but there was 34 other offers on this one home in Las Vegas." And
Yeah.
like that, I've never even heard of such a thing. I mean,
It's funny. I've got a friend who's a realtor up in Oakland, Alameda County, that area, East Bay. Literally houses up there. My mom and sister live up there, right? Houses are going for $1 million over ask. $1 million over
Where is
ask.
this?
Oakland, Alameda County, East Bay of San Francisco. All the way.
So if the interest rate's so low, I know we're mixing topics, but it's kind of interesting because the Bitcoin
but,
as well.
But
it's all related.
It is relative to why people are flocking to Bitcoin, right? Because this party's going to end badly. I mean, you look. I didn't bring it. I was going to bring it. I actually have in a case $100 trillion bill from the Bank of Zimbabwe. You know what it buys?
Nothing.
3 eggs.
My brother always carries it.
Yeah, no, but there's a point. What Zimbabwe did is they just kept overprinting their currency to the point where hyperinflation. The Weimar Republic, what happened is they lose World War I. They're forced to pay off this money. It's like, well, let's just print more, right? And then you got these stories of these people with wheelbarrow. That's what brought Hitler to power, is because people were just so done being broke. I don't want to get into the issue of the other shit that he did, right? But what I'm saying is, this story has been done. It's happening in Lebanon. It's happening in Venezuela and Uruguay, where the currency is totally being debased. Now the government just keeps printing. What people don't know, most people don't know, is the U.S. dollar was backed by gold. But Richard Nixon realized we can in Vietnam. If we're going to keep fighting this war in Vietnam.
I mean, it definitely scares me, the whole printing money situation, because
Okay.
you just don't know what's going on in general. So you feel by printing money, basically, it won't be worth anything like Zimbabwe.
Well,
and that, I mean, just speculation.
Here's another one. No, it's not speculation. Here's another way to look at it. Why are stocks, things like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and real estate and commodities like steak and gasoline, why are these things going up? It's not that they're going up. It's the price, the worth of the dollar has gone down. It's gone down.
All right, so we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're fortunate to have some sponsors. Richard Harris Law Firm.
You're not going to have any after this podcast.
The Defenders, Ticket Busters, basically Universal Motor Cars, and Real Vegas Magazine are sponsors of the Problem Solver Show, which is a weekly show in general. We'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, let's talk about gold, silver. Everyone used to buy gold and silver, and then why Bitcoin may be better than gold and silver. So we'll be back in a quick minute. And Dave, I really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Yeah, who do I see to get paid?
When you leave, you can get a check. It's going to be a Bitcoin probably or something.
Pay me in Bitcoin.
I will be back in a
It's
quick.
my pleasure. Thank you, David.
Thanks. We'll be back in a quick minute.
Another day in Nevada, and we're lucky enough to call it home. The world knows us for our entertainment, but the best part about living here is the everyday people of our communities. And when one of us gets injured in an accident, well, I guess you could say it's personal. We fight for the people of Nevada every day. The Richard Harris Law Firm at 444-4444, just in case.
I recommend the Defenders because they say what they're going to do and they do what they say.
You're the client, they're working for you. The attorney is your attorney.
I am very impressed with the relationship the Defenders has with their clients, and I hope to continue working with them.
It's not just signing people up, getting clients. It's we're going to take care of your problems, and they care about people.
neither one of us are giving a handout to those people so that they could take advantage, but both of us are giving them that massive hand up.
From the moment I came into the office, everyone working at the front desk was super nice, and just made me feel like I was at home.
When you call, you know that they're working for you and that they want the best for you.
Universal Motor Cars, your one-stop shop Things Auto. Service, body repair, collision repair, free towing with repair, all under one roof. State-of-the-art paint equipment and facilities, trained certified technicians, lifetime warranty on paint. Universal Motor Cars accepts all insurance. Over 10 years in business. LVAC members receive 10% off labor. Your one-stop shop for all things auto.
Hey everybody, we're back to the Problem Solver. Thanks for joining us again. We're back in the second half segment of David James here, who is, I'm going to call a Bitcoin guru. His title is Chief Visionary Officer of Blockchain Recruiters, which we're going to talk about that kind of at the end because this is the juicy part right now in general. We're talking about Bitcoin. How does that get involved with Problem Solver? There's a lot of problems in the world. Bitcoin is a way of paying for, all kinds of different things today, whether it's gasoline, whether it's food.
Your future.
So basically, Dave's talking about generational wealth, which is a lot of information. We're joking and laughing a little bit in general, but it's a serious topic, actually. And the question really comes down to is, like, in the future, which I just learned today, that the last Bitcoin from David's background experience kind of educated me that in 2140 will be the last year that someone can actually physically mine a Bitcoin. The last Bitcoin.
The last Bitcoin of the 21 million
of the
that
21
are to
million.
ever have been mined will be mined in 2140.
So the biggest thing that we're talking about, opportunity and the future in general, and the other small Bitcoins, what you do. So one of the things I like talking about is generational wealth. I will share my parents lived in New York City. They lived in New York City. They bought a house. I think it was like 60 or 80 grand. They bought it 50 years ago. They just sold their home. It was like sold for like $700,000. But I always say that, excuse me, if they would have bought one more home to make do, like as an investment property, they were a little savvy. Most people just didn't really do that. Some people did. They were able to have more property. I mean, technically, of course, look, they're healthy, they're alive. Thank God we're blessed. They're 75 years of age and they're alive and they're well, where some people are not blessed with that. But if they had one extra home, they would have a little bit extra money, right? So they could live a little bit nicer or differently, and they're very fortunate. And like I said, they just moved here to Las Vegas from New York City. They have a beautiful home, a few blocks away from me to spend time with the children, so I'm fortunate. But if they would have bought one extra home, they would have a little bit extra money, right? So I believe in generational wealth. Now, I'm fortunate. I went to a lot of real estate training classes and basically learned about real estate, and I met with 20 realtors, 15 mortgage agents, seminars, and I'm fortunate to buy a bunch of properties. And especially now with today's market, it's kind of crazy, just what's going on. And so I believe that the opportunity for the future, right? Like we're always like, what's the future opportunity? Like, do you buy gold? Do you buy silver? Do you buy what? So you mentioned something during the break in regards to Bitcoin. Like, share your perspective on the generational wealth and the opportunity that may lie. Again, we're assuming, right? We're not basically telling people that it's a factual. I mean, you may believe it's factual, but again, we're not trying to give advice and information because we don't want people to put money into Bitcoin.
Yeah, this is my financial opinion. This is not financial advice.
Opinion. We're not telling people to take this.
I just say it.
So,
it's my financial opinion. However, I got Bitcoin when it was $210.
Can I have a few of those?
Yeah, no, you can have all of mine.
You really? I thought you were gonna be a nice person today. You're not sharing.
No, I'm gonna give you all of it. How's that not sharing?
Okay. Knowledge is power.
It's funny that you actually said that because you were talking about real estate, right? I'm 57 years old. You're 45. Okay, at the time of this podcast, which is in the archives forever. But getting a house and getting equity in the house as your retirement, that's our parents' dream, right? And kids today, they either don't care about that or they've been shut out. I don't know which one that is. And so this whole thing with cryptocurrency, if you're 35 and under, 80% of people that are 35 and under cryptocurrency, right? They see this as the new thing because they realize that they're kind of shut. How is a new college grad with 3 years of experience and $100,000 in debt working for $15 an hour at Best Buy going to actually do any of those things that you're talking about, right? But so, and I'm only speaking for myself personally, right? I wasn't literate financially as far as I got a finance degree and understood how the market was, puts, calls, options. I didn't do any of that. But it wasn't until I just saw the depreciation of my money and the incredible incredible rent does by taxation. Think about your bank. We got a $25 fee. Think about the resort fee you get at the hotel. That's all rent seeking. It's a form for them to actually take rent from you. And the reason I'm saying that, it's like, okay, right? So I'm paid in this money that the government gets to take, and I'm not advocating not paying taxes or any of that thing, but it just gets to the point where the juice isn't worth the squeeze, right? Then all of a sudden something like Bitcoin comes along, right, that can't be confiscated, and they can't manipulate and control how many of them are made, hence the scarcity since the price goes up. Now, so I literally, so that when I'm going back to the whole stock market thing, the reason I wasn't attracted to things like Tesla, when I heard about it, it was $900. All right, even when I heard about Google 15 years ago at $300, I said, I ain't spending $300. $300 to make 330 to make 2%, right? It's like you're laying 10. It's a 10 to 1. It's 1 to 10, like for odds, right? But Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general, right? They're asymmetric, right? I mean, Bitcoin it's a life-changing phenomenon for so many people, right? People who got in it, even if you got in at 10,000, if you bought 10 Bitcoin at $10,000, right? That's now 100,000 is now $1 million. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, it's now 500,000. I'm just saying, and there are so many people gone. So there are asymmetric gains, and I'm going to tell you this. Even if you're looking at Bitcoin right now at $56,000, and you're saying, "Is it too late for me?" I don't think it is. Now, is this just me? So the smartest people that I know, and here's how I judge whether I'm right or wrong. I listen to people and I ask, hey, how smart they are. And there are so many people in the Bitcoin space that are so much smarter than me. Michael Saylor, okay, he's this new hero. In August, he announced that he took $500 million of his treasury and they bought Bitcoin for MicroJ Strategies, a publicly traded company. And so now that Bitcoin, that $500 million is worth $6 billion. Now he's bought more since then, right? He makes a business case. And you have to understand, PayPal is now buying Bitcoin. They accept it. JP Morgan's accepted it. Grayscale, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, they literally own, I think, and I'm going to quote this wrong, like almost close to 800,000 Bitcoin, right? And these are people who can buy stocks in these companies. And so
basically, if they're buying it, then it's showing that these are smart
Elon
people.
Musk bought $1.5 billion. What, you gonna call that guy an idiot? I mean, he's got the two most transformational companies. Okay,
so let's talk about me and my family as a case study.
Yeah. So
I have 3 kids now. I have Chloe, Kyla. I have to think about these names already. I got too many Ks.
Yep.
I got Chloe, Kyla, and Kyle. Kyle's the boy. Right. So Chloe basically is turning 7, Kyla's turning 5, and Kyle basically is 2.5. So here's my question for you. So what do I got to do for the future? This is kind of interesting because this video will stay, for the future in the archives. What should I be doing for them? Now you got to 2000. What was it again? 2140, right?
Yeah, that's got nothing to do with you.
Nothing with me. For my kids, what do I need to do right now?
I'll tell you exactly.
Okay.
I'll tell you exactly. So basically, think about 10 years ago. All right, 2012. Bitcoin was trading for about $100.
That was 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Okay. So basically, it's 60,000%.
60,000%.
Yeah, it went from $100 to 60,000.
Okay.
All right. So I watched it happen, and it didn't happen overnight, but I watched it go. That's asymmetric gain. Okay. If I bought 1 Bitcoin for each one of my kids 10 years ago, all right, I literally have asymmetric gain. So I'm here to tell you that I believe in 10 years, just based on arithmetic fact, right, and what's happening with all the other assets and the money printing, that if you were to buy 1 Bitcoin for each one of your kids and lock it up in a trust, and there are places you can do that each one of those Bitcoins would be worth $6 million. So you got a 17-year-old, you got a 14-year-old, and a 12-year-old. Another 10 years after that, I mean, sky's the limit. But basically, Bitcoin is the largest, like Facebook was a social network. Bitcoin is already a tried and true financial network.
Okay.
Right? Am I answering your question?
Yeah. Okay. No, that's a good one. So here's a question for you. Do you know, I have some money in a retirement account from a place I worked with for a little bit.
Yep.
Let's just say $40,000. If I take the money out, I'm taxed on that money because I'm taking it out because it's like a 401k. Is there any way of transferring money like that to a Bitcoin where that you're not being taxed? Is that like the
no?
whole
See,
IRA thing?
I don't know how to speak on that. That's something definitely for a lawyer or accountant. But here's what I'll tell you. Something else.
Question.
You know how
it's like a Bitcoin IRA.
I understand, but I'm going to speak to you about it another way, and this is what I'm planning on doing. So if I take Bitcoin and I sell it right now, right? Let's say I bought it for 10 and now it's 50, right? If I sell it, then that's a taxable event, and I got to pay tax on the remaining $40,
Which is all new now.
No, I mean, I guess it's new because Bitcoin's new, but that's the same thing with real estate or stocks, right?
Okay.
All of a sudden, I bought Tesla at $10, and now I sell it. I got to pay tax on those
Okay.
gains, right? So one of the things you can do with Bitcoin, and there's a lot of companies where they literally will give you a loan. They will give you a loan on your collateral, where you actually send them your Bitcoin, right? And they will give you cash. Now, the whole idea is as Bitcoin goes up, you can refinance your loan. And it keeps going cash, cash, cash. So you get all this cash and you never pay tax because it's not a taxable event. So, I mean, I don't know how long that's going to be. But that's how they do it in real estate. People take all the equity and then they buy more real estate.
Well, that's what they do with an IRA, a real estate
Yeah,
IRA.
but-
And then the profits go back into the IRA, and you can keep buying and selling as long as it goes back into the IRA.
Yeah, so I know that there are Bitcoin IRAs. I don't know anything. That's
look
not my lane. And
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't want to say what to do here.
So the bottom line is, I got for myself, and I'm just using myself as a guinea pig. I got to find out whether or not I can take money from a 401k plan and transfer over without being taxable income, and transfer it over to go buy a Bitcoin or maybe buy a Bitcoin IRA.
Yeah, you're thinking about this wrong because you asked me a question, what do I do for my kids? And what I'm really hearing you say is, how do I take the $40,000 and buy Bitcoin with it? They're two different conversations.
What?
Why?
I'm buying it for them.
Right, but you asked, what do I do for my kids? I said, get them each a Bitcoin and make sure that it's a situation where they can't sell it. Of course they can't sell it because they won't be able to possess it at 17, 14, and 12, where they'll be in 10 years. So if you really want
So
to...
you say put it into the trust. Put the Bitcoin into the
I
trust.
say get a Bitcoin for each of them and just watch what happens. And when people say, well, you don't know what's going to happen in the future, it's like, you're right, I know what's going to happen in the future, but I watched what happened when they were trading at 100 and 200 and 300.
Okay. I mean, so you're basically saying, again,
My opinion,
your opinion,
from what
is
I
that
watched happen.
if I bought one Bitcoin,
Yeah.
10 years, if I bought one for now, it's $60,000, $56,000, that it should be worth
$6 million.
$6 million.
Yeah, and there's a
10
thing,
years from now.
Yeah, and there's a thing called there's this guy named Plan B. Plan B is he's a Dutch investor. He keeps himself anonymous. He always has his face off on the podcast, but you hear him. He's got this thing called stock to flow. And when you think about gold, right? There's how much stock we have, and how much flow will be based on where we know gold is and how fast it's coming in. And he did, and this was 10 years ago, and he did this thing. If you Google stock to flow Plan B, if you Google, there's a chart, and right now he literally called May of 2021 that Bitcoin should be at $61,000. I mean, he's nailed it.
He called it.
And you can see where else it's going. And
What's his name again?
Plan B.
Plan B.
Yeah.
That's also what he called someone else.
Yeah.
Plan B.
Plan B. But what he says about Bitcoin.
And what's his name?
It's still Plan B.
Oh, so
No one knows.
There's
no one knows.
No one knows his name.
Kind of
So-
like Glenn Fry.
So what do you do? Like you just Google Plan B. What did you say? Flow? What is it?
Stock to flow. We're not gonna be able to look at it quick enough. But you will see how back when he did this thing 7 years ago, he predicted, hey, it should be about 1,400 here. And so really he predicts it'll be $1 million. Each Bitcoin will be $1 million by 2024. So a guy who's been I remember 4 years watching the guy. It's never going to be $15,000. I remember, and the guy's been spot on.
Here it shows. I'm not sure, Aaron, if you're able to pull it up, but if you just Google Bitcoin stock to flow model,
Yeah.
right? It shows the graph. It shows in 2020. Okay, wait a second. 2021. It's showing here. I guess it shows like $60,000.
Yeah.
So it shows.
And the thing about it is you could move your cursor over a
So
certain...
2025. It shows $1 million.
Yeah, that's right. Now, the thing about it is if he just wrote this like a week ago, I'd be suspect. But remember, I've been looking at this chart for over 5 years. Go back to what it was 5 years ago when it was like literally $300 or $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
$1,000.
And he made this one in 2010. The chart
Is that what it says?
looks like it.
Yeah.
Patience is a virtue. But 2025, I mean, even if you bought the 50,000 right now, that'd be worth in 4 years.
Yeah,
It's saying
if I'd have told you in October, hey, you should, October, yeah, it was about 12. Hey, spend $12,000 and you will actually 5x your money in 6 months. Would you have done it? No.
Got it. So this is interesting. This is a good chart. All right, so tell us. I think we have about 5, 7, 10 minutes, whatever it may be. We'll get a count here how much time we have. Okay, so this is awesome stuff. The bottom line is, look, everyone's gonna do the educational information. I think this is great. I didn't know about this chart. The chart basically is on the screen right now. It is interesting. I'm looking at it for the first time. Look at 2021. It basically shows you at 60, 70,000 how it's going up. I mean, the truth is, if it goes to $1 million in 4 years, that'd be amazing.
If you have it.
If you have it. So, I do believe it's like when you go to the track, and I used to go to the track when I was younger in New York City, when you want to go to a horse and you could bet $5 and you win a certain horse, it's the favorite, you go in $5.60. To me, we're making 60 cents.
Yeah, that's like buying
if it came
Tesla.
in.
That's like buying Tesla,
So
right.
to me, I always wanted the one with the greatest odds, because if I bet $100, I could make $1,200. It was worth it.
You're
it was
looking
worth
for
the investment.
This is what we're
opportunity.
talking. It's called asymmetric returns.
Asymmetric returns.
Yeah, it's not 1-to-1. Right? You buy stock, right, at $60 a stock, and it's like, hey, a year later your stock's now at $64.
So the bottom line is, it's something to look into. I was gonna laugh again, saying maybe I need to get with you if I want to come up with a Chuck E. Cheese Bitcoin, but I don't know if I can do that with you. But I'm sure other people are trying different things. I haven't done the research, but for now, it seems like Bitcoin's where it's at in regards to the money situation. It seems
Well,
like
there are a lot of coins out there,
Yeah.
and there are people who are making money on those coins.
But you think it's more of a short-term situation?
I just.
If there's no, what do we call it? If there's no, like the $21 million,
Yeah,
it's never
there's
gonna
no
become
scarcity.
More.
It's not
If
finite.
they could always do more, then it's a problem.
Yeah, or take Ethereum for a second. So the second coin is called Ethereum, right?
Okay.
The problem with Ethereum, right, is that the guy Vitaly Buterin, right, who actually he literally has enough power himself to change the director of it, the direction. He can say, no, we're going to do this. The Bitcoin does. There's no central committee on Bitcoin or one guy who just decides, something, we're going to do this or that. And this is the problem I had. I know that you sent me that these two twin brothers were talking about they're doing this trade show where people were getting paid to get people to come to the school. And it was just, I mean, every time you're doing that type of multi-level shit, it's going to end so badly. And wait, here's the important thing. What they were saying is, it's like, hey, we're going to give you the same trades that people were doing, 6, 7, and 8-figure trades. But my trading strategy might be different than their trading strategy. And I know at 3 a.m. I'm getting out, or once it hits a certain signal, I get a buy, and you've got all these people piling in. It's going to end so badly.
So locally in town, like I said, I think there's some
the twin brothers, they were touting it.
Got it. And they were talking about it because someone basically is involved in like the academy or training.
Yeah.
I didn't really watch it. So basically, you're saying that's not good.
Well, what I'm saying is that, like, you have a trading strategy, investment funds for yours.
Mm-hmm.
So I should just do exactly what you do, right? But I've got totally different goals.
True.
Right?
Or age or
Yeah,
kids
and so the fact that they're saying the guys that are doing, I think it's going to end badly. I wouldn't do it.
Got it. And that's because they're trying to trade every single day. Like if it's stocks.
But they're not even talking about Bitcoin. They're talking about all these other
Other
off-the-wall coins.
Real quickly, so tell me, just to recap, if I want to buy Bitcoin today, what do you recommend? Do I go to, what is it, Coinbase?
Yeah, I'd go to Coinbase.
So just recap.
Yeah.
If I want to buy one coin today, I go to Coinbase, I set up an account, and you believe in taking the digital.
Yeah, but that's a whole nother thing, because you need to have here's why I like Coinbase. Okay, they just went public. They're audited and monitored by the SEC and the government. So I saw it. So there'll be no mishigash with that. Okay, they're expensive, but you can do an ACH right out of your account. All right. Then taking it off the blockchain, you better do that with somebody who knows how, because if you make a mistake with that, send it to the wrong address, it's gone forever. But to actually be able to possess Bitcoin,
How do you protect yourself with that? How do you? Is it?
Yeah, that's kind of like, how do you not shoot yourself with your service weapon? I mean, it's just, experience, time, correct training,
But you believe in taking the possession, not leaving it on Coinbase?
Not your keys, not your coins. Okay, so basically, someone needs a nap. Bitcoin is decentralized. Okay, so there's no corporate headquarters, right? Like the money, like gold you might have in your safe, or cash you might have, decentralized. You control all of that. There's no central figure that can take that, right? But when you're on Coinbase and you leave it on the exchange, a government entity could intercede and take your coins from you and order by a judge, take David's away and give it to us.
So you're saying transfer the digital to decentralize it.
Yeah, take it to a
take
private
possession,
wallet. Yeah.
Put it into a private wallet and put it into a safe.
Yeah, the thing about the wallet, doesn't matter if it's safe, doesn't matter if somebody finds it, doesn't matter it gets destroyed. You got ways to back it up. Yeah, put it in the safe. That's correct.
Okay. Put it in an actual physical safe.
Yeah, in a fireproof bag.
What is it, like a USB drive?
Something like that. Yeah, Trezor, Nano. There's a
There's
lot.
different ones. Okay, you'll let me know.
Casa.
So we got about 4 minutes left. Tell us a little bit, real quickly at the end. What can you do for people that are looking for jobs? Tell us about blockchain recruiters,
right?
Because that's where we're at right now. If you want to help people,
yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah. So Bitcoin is an emerging space. And also, in all fairness, I recruit in the blockchain space because there are a lot of there are a lot of people that are doing a lot of things. For example, the country of Ethiopia just signed a contract using Cardano on a blockchain, which what they do is there's so much corruption and fraud in Ethiopia about children's school records. So now what they're doing is they're putting the school records on this blockchain. So all of a sudden this kid shows up, they get his name, and they realize at this school he got a C and a D, and he's really 25, he's not 16 like the parents are saying, right? So really blockchain technology is going to change the world. Think about LinkedIn. You put your profile up, then you decide, you know what, I'm going to decide I never worked at that company because it went bad. With blockchain technology, you can't change that. It's an immutable record. Mm-hmm. Bitcoin is just used as a financial form of currency. So basically, what I'm doing in this space is I realize that there's a finite amount of recruiters in the space. There's hardly any. And there's a lot of transferable skills, right? And people need good talent. So what I do at Blockchain Recruiters is I've got clients who pay me to find people. So if you're looking for people in the blockchain space, call me. If you're looking for a job in the blockchain space, send me an email with your resume. Let's talk.
All right. So David James is on the screen. His email's up there as well. His phone number was up there as well. I'll add it as well to Facebook and YouTube when I basically it post online. I really appreciate you coming out today.
I'm so honored that you thought enough of me to call me out. Thanks a lot.
To me, it's just a crazy topic. I think I'm gonna have to take some type of action. Otherwise,
you'll have me back in 6 months when you know more.
And my kids will be upset. They listen to this like, Dad, how come you didn't do this thing? This guy's telling
you're
you
right.
to do,
They're gonna be pissed.
We spoke about it for now, so I need to take some action in general. But the bottom line is look, there's opportunity out there, and things are changing. Times are changing, and so the bottom line is again, the problem solver is about helping people in general, and this is just kind of shedding light about this new type of currency and opportunity, and maybe creating generational wealth. Who knows? 6 months, 4 years from now, if it is worth $1 million, and we went back to watch this video, when everybody says, "Oh, it's gonna tank or it's not gonna work," who knows? So if you're interested, my main thing is just to educate yourself in general. You can give me a call. I can connect you. David's number's up there as well if you want to call him and ask any questions. If you're looking for a job, I'd like to work with you. Maybe I could help some other people get employment as well.
Yeah, let me say this: if you're looking for a job and you're struggling, and you really want it, I'm always open to help people, whether you want something in the blockchain space or not. If I have enough time, with Zoom technology, I know your listeners are here in Vegas, and I'm in North County, San Diego. But if you're struggling, and I'll give that away for free.
Awesome, that's amazing. I really appreciate you doing that for the people that are listeners and viewers of the Problem Solver. So every single week, I have amazing people that come on the show like yourself that are talented, that are giving back and sharing. Every single week, basically, if someone has a problem, they can call the Problem Solver. Go to our progressive web app, which is theproblemsolver.vegas. My phone number is 702-400-7474. You can call me and text me anytime at that number if I can help you for any problem. If there's legal issues, if there's housing, rental, you want to buy, you want to sell, if it's Bitcoin, if you're looking for a job, if you have negative thoughts and you want to talk to somebody, I'm totally available 24/7. Whatever I can do to basically help people and pay it forward. Again, I'm Dave Colemeyer, the Problem Solver, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week on the next episode of the Problem Solver. Be careful out there in general.
I have a problem. I need a ride to my hotel.
I'm going to help this guy solve his problem today. I'm giving him a ride back to the hotel. So
he really does it.
I solved another
you really
problem
did.
today.
Yeah, go Dave.
Have a good one. Thanks for joining the show today. We'll see you next week. Have a great day.
Meet Joe. Joe's a very busy guy. He's always driving from work to meet friends. And sometimes Joe's in a hurry and doesn't follow all the rules. Joe just got a traffic ticket. Traffic tickets are a major hassle. You have to take time off work to go to court and stand in long lines. A couple days later, Joe saw his friend Matt. Joe tells Matt about his traffic ticket troubles. Another traffic ticket? Just call Ticket Busters. Ticket Busters? What's Ticket Busters? Ticket Busters is the quick and easy traffic ticket solution with licensed attorneys. Ticket Busters went right to work for Joe's ticket. Ticket Busters did all the work, saving Joe time and stress. A few weeks later, Joe receives a call from Ticket Busters and his traffic ticket has been resolved with no points, no traffic school, and no insurance increase. Ticket Busters helped Joe bust his ticket, and Ticket Busters can help you too. Go to ticketbusters.com, download our app, or call 702-666-6666.
Activated.